Welcome to this week's Q&A. I apologize once again for starting up so late today. If this is your first time attending a Q&A, these Q&As are run by your questions. And if there are no questions, I will start with going with a general breakdown of Stitch, of the portal. Feel free to start with any questions that you have. So I hope you guys can see my screen. I'm currently sharing with you Stitch. And this is what Stitch will look like after you've opened the folder that you copied from your USB stick to your computer. Once you connect your USB stick to the computer, you will open up the folder in Stitch. Once you open Stitch, you can go to the top left corner where you load your project. I'll start that again for you. So I'll discard this. And then once you locate the folder in your folder explorer, you'll click it once to select it, and then you'll click this button here, select folder, which will open it up in Stitch. Here you'll see where all your Stitch data is, and above it, you'll see the visual data. And on your left, you'll have a folder file structure. So you have the entire project folder, which is named Planix data here. Then you have your main building. And on that building, essentially, you'll have your main floors. If you've added a second building to your iGUIDE, then that would be over here. And as such, below this would be all of the scans of this new floor. So for now, it will look something like this. It could be a lot worse than this, where you have, for example, panels all over the place. Sometimes it is the case where auto align doesn't help when you don't have like clear line of sight and stuff like that. You'll have something that's more jumbled up. And for this, you also have tools that you can use that will help you out align your data better. If I want to capture a Google Street View of a business, what is the best way to capture these locations and submit them? Do I just capture the rooms that we want to cover as usual and then send them in with special instructions that they are just a street view and not a full floor plan, etc.? Thanks for any help you might give. Let me think of it. So Google Street View. So I'm just assuming here, but you basically want to scan for example, a business that's on the street. You go in, take some scans just so that you can link it to a Google Street View. And yeah, I believe that if you don't need full floor plans, anything that's floor plan related that's kind of custom, I 100% recommend that you leave notes in the Stitch data for our drafting team. You can leave notes by pressing this button here, and then double clicking on the screen. You can leave a note there, or an easier way would be by clicking on the project folder name, leaving any notes over here for our drafting team. They definitely see this, and they will adhere to anything that is possible that works with drafting standards, right? I do recommend also you create a ticket regarding this question. I believe it is too specific, and there may be things that I'm not remembering right now. So I would also recommend you create a ticket with these questions. I would list all your questions as well so that we can have different answers for your different questions. But generally, just from what you're asking, I would say yes, just capture the rooms that you want visible. But then again, you can also scan everything and hide panels as well, right? So let's say this is the property you want to add to Google Street View, right? And you can just right click on the panels you don't want and you can hide them, right? So they won't be visible on the iGUIDE. And that's essentially what is linked to Google Street View. So that works in either way. It'll work if you scan a lot of the entire space or just scan the spaces that you need. Both will get you your desired outcome. I also believe that if you scan the whole place, it'll be easier in the long run. You'll have a drafted floor plan. Drafting team won't be as confused if they have just scans that are not really connected, so they won't understand that. But yes, leave notes. That definitely helps. And Also, I do recommend you create a ticket for if you have like a specific scenario in mind that we could probably give you more catered data information on how to do a certain iGuide that you have in mind. We would definitely be able to help you with that. I hope that helps. So Myra, you were saying that you did not eject the USB from the camera. Would that make a difference? Well, yes, because if you don't eject the USB to the camera, then your data will still be on the USB itself. There's no way for you to send it to Stitch. You do need to open up the data in Stitch because once you have an aligned scan, like what if like on my screen here, you will be clicking over here, which is the export project. What does it say? Select the initial panel. So that's sorry, I'm getting some errors because of that floor. Okay, so yes, as sometimes you do get errors when you are exporting, you will always get some indication from Stitch. The previous one was I didn't have an initial panel, which I set as initial panel. Once I hit that, it gave me another error, and that was due to the new building I had. That was just from a previous Q&A. So I deleted that. There was no panels or scans there at all. So once I was able to set an initial panel, it should allow me to export this. And there you go. So this is the next part of creating your iGuide, right? So once you've scanned your property, you've aligned your data, then you want to export it to us. And when you once an exported tar file is created, that's what you submit to us for our drafting team to take and draft a floor plan for, right? So this is taking a little bit of time, which is normal. Um, it is creating uh, an a single file for everything on this project. So once you have exported successfully, like we have such here, then you can directly start your iGuide creation process from Stitch itself. Once you click this, it'll open up the portal in your browser. Let's see what happens when I do this here. So it located the export folder and it's now opening it in a browser, I believe. Right, so this is the create an iGuide page. And here is where you get the next steps. When you do it from Stitch, the data will already be uploaded here. But let's start off from, or wait, actually, I believe that's incorrect. That it'll be already uploaded here. I don't believe it will be. You'll have to still upload that. But it'll direct you to this page where you can create a new iGuide and start the creation process. So I continue with where I was at the create new iGuide page. Here you'll select your industry, so residential if that's or commercial or insurance and registration if that's your field. Um, I'll just go for residential. And then here your second step would be to choose your package. And this is important in the event, like if you want an ESX file, this is normally for a lot of our insurance restoration guys, operators, they require ESX file, so they'll select it here. Once you click that to check, once you click the checkbox there, it'll give you this pop-up. It's an important pop-up. I would recommend you always read our pop-ups because they always have information that would help. So this one here is telling you that this just clicking this add-on will not automatically generate an ESX file for you. It will just enable the option. Here is where if you click this, you can request it. So once your floor plan has been drafted and you want your ESX file immediately after, you can request it so that a task is created right after the floor plan is drafted, you'll also get an ESX file, right? So you can click that, or you can hit cancel, because you can then request it later on, just in the event that you don't need it immediately. You can also choose to unclick our free add-ons, like if you don't want the floor planner or an advanced measurements or the Google Street View option. So if you don't want any of these or you don't need them, but you can also just leave them. It doesn't hurt to have them. And here you can choose the package you want. This would be if you wanted a radix floor plan. If that's a radix is no floor plan, basically. You'll just get a 3D tour. Premium is where it's the detailed floor plan. You'll get that. Yep, so this is where you can choose the package that you need. Let's say standard. Here you can enter an address. Here's where you can add a branding to the iGUIDE, a banner to it, which is to pop up, or you can choose to turn that off. Generally, our realtors like to have their information here set up so that you can call them in the event that a customer sees this iGUIDE online somewhere and they don't know who to call. So this definitely helps with that. It's a good way, a good marketing tool as well. You can also choose to add someone to your mailing list. They'll get the iGUIDE report once the iGUIDE has been completed. In the iGUIDE people section, you can choose who will get the iGUIDE report once it's completed. You can add your editors. This is in the event that if you want one of your clients or your realtor to make any edits to the iGUIDE, you can add their email address here. And you can also choose who's subscribed to your analytics. You can do it yourself. Normally, if you are the uploader, you are also the manager of an iGUIDE, but that can also be changed in different events if you're like a sub account. But here's where you can choose all of the specifications of who you want to give editing access to, who you want to the iGUIDE report to be sent to. You can have it automatically set up here. You can also send them the iGUIDE reports later once the iGUIDE has been completed. If you don't want to, that's also an option. Sixth option is where you upload your data. So when you click here, you'll be able to find, in my instance, let's see if I can look at my folder. Find example data here. There should be an export folder that looks such as such. You click there and you'll have your exported tar file. This is what you upload when you upload your data to the iGUIDE, not the entire project folder. And see, it has been updated successfully. You can also add any images. So this is if you've taken extra shots of still shots of the property with a different camera. You can upload them here and add them to your gallery. You also have advanced options where you can embed a video. You can edit the iGUIDE URL. This is the link that is created to your iGUIDE, so you can change it here. You can choose to have it protected or not, and you have all these other options as well. Don't believe I need to go through all of them because they're pretty straightforward. If you want to hide building floor areas, if you want to hide rooms, you want to hide PDF floor plans, this is kind of extra options that you have power over and control over. A really important one would be protected. This is in the event that you don't want anyone to see this iGUIDE that you, like publicly. Once it's protected, then only the people you give access to will be able to see this iGUIDE. But I hope I was able to answer your questions that you had. And if you have any questions that you still weren't completely sure about, or you didn't get a clear answer to, if you didn't really understand it well, please feel free to create a ticket regarding that. Reach out to us, and we will definitely be able to find better answers for you. Well, all right. If there are no more questions, we have reached the end of this week's Q&A. Hope you guys have a great evening and a great rest of your day. Thank you.